What's up, my friends? Welcome back to another installment of Crossing the Line podcast. Thank you so much for checking us out once again, whether you're hanging out with us on YouTube or you're checking us out wherever you can get your podcast, Apple Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your music, your podcasts. Come on and hang out with us. We really appreciate it. Myself, Tyler Zulli, Mike Davella, Jack Molesky, Mark Vignani. We are back with another delayed podcast. We appreciate your patience. But gentlemen, we have a lot to get into today after our 48-hour absence. We said that our video was going to be about 15 or 20 minutes on the firing of Doc Rivers this past week. And knowing us, we knew we were going to blow by that number, but I did not expect to blow by that number to 40 minutes. So thanks for bearing with us on that episode as well. But guys, it's good to be back with you in full force once again.
Ty, we do one thing well, and that is rant about dumb shit.
It's true.
So we ended up doing it for 40 minutes 2 days ago, and we're going to do it for another hour plus today. And speaking of your comment of wherever you listen to your music and wherever you get you podcasts, do you think it would be smart for our listeners to listen to our podcast and put on some music in the background so that way they can drown us out a little bit? And what would you listen to underneath Crossing the Line?
Honestly, I think we need now uploading them to YouTube. We need to start throwing in the YouTube chapters. So like when they see something that's coming up that they don't want to listen to, just throw music on. But that way, at least still listen to the podcast so we get the analytics up and everything like that.
But like, Mark, what do you think
something.
what do you think our genre would be in terms of music?
Honestly, with our cool, subtle voices, it's cool jazz. We'll just be jazzing along, just the smooth sounds, the saxophones in the background.
Ooh, epic sax man.
Oh,
I live for the sax.
I was going to drop some great vocals, but I'm not quite sure what's going to get us copyright strike, so I'm going to avoid it.
Do an alternate version.
I was going to drop you some heavy metal Baby Shark, but that might not even be enough.
That song bangs.
I was thinking like we could have some like screamo music, little chop suey underneath.
That's like whenever Tyler gets into his like really aggressive rants, though. He's like really on one.
You know what really grinds my gears?
You could just put flames in my eyes. Devil horns coming out.
I think there are some like if we went into the settings of Zoom and found some different little things that you could put on like filters and whatnot, we can make it happen.
I found a unicorn horn.
Put it on.
I don't know how that relates to me being angry and listening to metal, but I did find a unicorn horn.
Unicorns are like the angriest animals. It's just common science.
Is it? Are they? I don't know, man.
Could you imagine that being your country's official animal?
That would be kind of sick. Although I feel like
that's not a real animal. Look how ridiculous you look right now.
I feel like sloths are kind of aggressive.
I'm pretty sure it is a country's real mascot animal.
What country?
Isn't
unicorn?
Isn't it
Madagascar? I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is if you drink unicorn blood, you survive forever. That's what Voldemort did in Harry Potter.
Voldemort's the best.
That's true.
Look, I mean, something to be said about his work ethic. My man grinded to survive.
Scotland's look at that? Official animal is a unicorn.
Scotland.
You think they're just going around like just taping horns on horses and being like, yeah, look at that?
Do you think Lois Capaldi loves his unicorn?
It's just one of those. It's one of those cups. It's like the cone cups you get at the water cooler.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It should be Shrek. Shrek should be the animal that represents Scotland. Donkey. What are you doing in my swamp?
On this episode, amongst other things, we're going to figure out what the national animal of Scotland should be if it's not a unicorn. We will talk some sports, and we do have to talk about. We'll have some fun later in the episode with a little extension of our backyard baseball draft. So you don't want to miss that. The guys have no idea what's coming. We'll do that in the final segment coming up right here on Crossing the Line podcast. Yes, a abbreviated intro today, and much like every episode, because we love to get you right back to the content. That's why you're here. You're not here for our intro. You want to see our beautiful faces. So, gentlemen, we have a couple of places that we can start. The one place that I'm surprised that we're going to go into, because let's be honest, we know what the hierarchy of sports is for us, and only one of us has this sport sitting at the top of their list. And Jack, that would be you when it comes to the NHL. And we are down to the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. And as we all predicted, it would be, of course, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers in the Eastern Conference, and the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights in the Western Conference. And guys, I want to ask you, I know we talked a little bit about this when we talked about the NCAA tournament, but does this add any intrigue to you with it being teams that A, you didn't expect, and B, it's not traditional air quote NHL hockey driven markets? It's Vegas, it's North Carolina, it's Sunrise, Florida, it's Dallas, Texas. Any extra intrigue for you guys, or do you go the opposite way and you're just kind of like, whatever?
In the words of Roy Kent, fuck no. They don't even have their own fans. Why am I going to root for these teams?
Oh, I'm not saying you have to root for them. I'm just curious if you pull the, it'd be kind of cool to see the Panthers win the cup.
No, it would. Well, I lived 30 minutes away from BB&T. I don't even know what they call it now, where the Panthers play in Sunrise, and for like 4 years. And I went to a couple of games, and I was one of like 400 people in the entire building. So for those 400 people, like every single one of those people that go to the games, it was like me and 400 season ticket holders. So to see those people happy would be kind of hilarious and cool for them, but kind of hilarious for me because there's so few of them. But that being said, the intrigue isn't really, I mean, I enjoy watching and I'll throw it on whenever I have some free time, but I'm not like really looking to get super analytical about it and jump in and really care who has a good game or what. Like there's one dude that I actually think is really solid on that team. It's Barkov. And outside of that, it would be funny as a Flyer fan. I almost said former Flyer fan because they're so irrelevant.
You could be a former Flyer fan.
To see Sergei Bobrovsky win the cup would be pretty kind of comical to me.
Well, you forgot the best player on the team, Matthew Tkachuk. He's probably the most intriguing player left in this postseason.
Nah, he's friends with Jason Tatum. I don't like him.
Honestly, this would be a great postseason for the boys in gray in like the mid 1860s, because this is like big time. The South will rise again. That was a long-winded way of getting to that line, but like this is, I mean, literally all these teams are from below. I don't know what what that southern line is, but
Mason
yeah,
Dixon,
I mean,
baby.
Mason Dixon. There you go. Yeah, so he's not going to recover from that one.
Hashtag cancel crossing the line.
Come on, that's not even the worst thing we've said on this show.
Nope.
By far. No, I think it's interesting. It's tough because like traditional markets, if you threw Toronto, New York, Edmonton, Colorado, on paper, that's more intriguing. No doubt about it. But I don't know. As a hockey fan, this is probably just as intriguing for me. I think for the casual viewers, which is maybe everyone else on this Zoom call, it's probably not as intriguing. But at this point, I think you're either into it or you're not, no matter who the teams are.
Oh, give me a Vegas victory so it gives me a reason to be a Vegas fan so I can go out to Vegas more often. That's all we're here for. Come on now.
Would it like so?
Did you get paid by the Vegas there?
That was
there a threshold you had to hit and you hit it?
Prop bet he has to say Vegas at least 10 more times to hit his
this segment's brought to you by FanDuel.
Yeah.
This segment brought to you by what happens in Vegas.
No, so I will pose this question because you guys are Flyers fans. I'm a Rangers fan. We all have not seen a Stanley Cup for our team in our lifetime. Part of me can't root for the Vegas Golden Knights yet because it pisses me off if they would win a cup. What is it, 5 years into their like? I can't root for a team to win well before
and a
my
second
team.
Cup appearance.
Yeah, and they've already been there. And could you imagine
Yeah.
they were one game away from it being the fucking Kraken and the Golden Knights, the two expansion teams? It would have been ridiculous.
So frustrating.
Kraken's uniforms go hard though.
They
do, and the city of Seattle goes hard for Kraken games.
Mark, you could be a Kraken fan. You don't have to root for Vegas just because the city's cool.
Well, the people in Seattle, maybe they just do Kraken too. So
I hear it rains in Seattle.
I hear it rains.
Doesn't stop.
Sometimes.
I hear they like coffee in Seattle.
Listen, I think that there are you mentioned Tkachuk being probably the best player left. I think there's a lot of good players that are going to get exposure for the first time in these series. And you guys mentioned Tkachuk and Barkov. And of course, I have been thrilled to watch this Carolina team over the last couple of seasons. And we talked about them. My first worry was when we talked about the playoff run was, are they going to stick with one goaltender? Or are they going to roll with two? And whether it was Ronza or it was Freddie Anderson, and you got to pick one. But they are so deep, and they don't have elite goal scorer. They really don't. Like Teravainen and like these guys are good players, but I wouldn't consider anybody on this team an elite goal scorer. And they just continue to find ways to win.
They have such a good system. I buried them in our NHL. I buried them in our NHL preview. I thought they were dead, and credit to them. They've had injuries. Teravainen is now back for the conference finals, but they were on paper, they were dead. But they have such a good system. They're relentless on the forecheck, and Brind'Amour is easily a top 3 coach in the NHL right now. So they're a fun team to watch. Florida fun for the upset factor, but you talk about players that are going to get more of the spotlight that don't usually get the spotlight. I feel like Vegas has some well-known guys, like Jack Eichel is the centerpiece there, and everyone knows Jack Eichel. Mark Stone's been a playoff beast for so long, even though he's cheating by playing because he was on a long-term IR until coincidentally right when the playoffs started. So Vegas is about $13 million over the cap. So it's fraudulent.
Oh, is that all?
Right, just a fraudulent championship if they win. Doesn't even count.
That
but
doesn't even matter though. Like they don't really care. It's like,
right. It's how the Tampa Bay Lightning won at least one cup.
Smart.
But the one player I'll point out that has been unbelievable in these playoffs that I don't think many people know much about is Roope Hintz for the Dallas Stars. He's
former
an incredible.
Oh,
exactly. Roope Hintz, former dad, fantasy dad for the Jack and Mike's fantasy hockey team. But
we had fantasy hockey team 2 years running called the Dirty Dads. Roope Hintz.
They were dirty.
He was like a role player, but he was pretty elite. So
he's graduated into one of the better two-way forwards in the game. He's a 30-goal scorer. He kills penalties. He's on the power play. He has 9 goals this playoffs. I think he's second in the league behind Leon Draisaitl, who's now out in playoff goals. But Dallas, no one really knows much about them. Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin are the biggest names on the team, but they've got Roope Hintz and then a young stud in Jason Robertson that's coming off a 40-goal season. Those are probably 2 of the best players left in the playoffs that will actually get the spotlight now.
Mark, I got to ask you a question. Yeah. Is there any part of you that believes that Jack just made him up and Mike is going along with this whole charade? I don't think that's a real player.
I've played many of NHL in my day. I've done many a fantasy draft, and not once have I heard that name.
I think they made him up.
Feels like a ruse.
Put some respect on the Finnish god, bro.
Roope, that's 2 O's, a P, and an E, and 9 goals in this playoffs.
I don't know how to read, so it doesn't help me at
all. Also, Vegas has Sergei Sergarov. He's really good.
Also, we're not talking about clearly anyone who listens to this podcast knows we really only care about our teams. So we're going to end up watching certain ancillary former Flyers, Rangers. We talked about Rod Brind'Amour being the coach of Carolina. Like, we're going to see guys.
Yeah, but he's objectively a good coach.
No, yes, fair. But that being said, we're going to have some misery within, no matter what happens. Cup appearances are coming, whether it be for Brady Shea, Jesper Fast, Shane Gostisbehere, Sergei Bobrovsky, Radko Gudas. Like, come on, man. What are we doing? This is
if the Panthers make it to a Stanley Cup with Radko Gudas and Mark Stahl as 2 of their top 6 defensemen, I will find I'm moving away from some tall bridges here in New York, but we'll find one in the Philly area.
All right, Mark, we're going to ask Mark another question. Mark, you're in spelling bee time. I know you can't read, but this is a spelling bee.
Damn it!
Spell Brady Shea's last name.
Brady Shea?
Brady Shea.
I don't know. S-H.
Wrong.
That's an S, a K, a J, and that's a nope. Let's do that hockey.
That's a noop. That's a Roop Hintz.
That's a Noope Hintz.
Jeez.
SKJEI for our illiterate co-host.
That is three consonants in a row. Gonna send it back to you.
I can't read already, but that just seems wrong. I don't know why.
Why does that make me think of the Will Ferrell playing Alex Trebek SNL skits? You wrote hoop with a $sign.
It is a number 2.
I think Brady Shea's name is actually a word scramble, and if you're dyslexic, you know the true spelling, but if you're actually just reading the right way, it's just completely scrambled up.
Yeah, it actually
Brady's
begins
J.
with J.
Yeah.
All right, real quick before we get to our next topic, guys, I want to bring this list up to you that I sent you guys the other day. NHL players remaining in the playoffs that make over $10 million this season, annual average salary. That's the answer. That's that prolonged silence for those of you that can't see us. The answer is none. Here are the 10 players. Here are the 10 players that make over $10 million this season. Connor McDavid, the number one paid player in the league. Underpaid, by the way, at $12.5 million.
Extremely.
Artemi Panarin, number 2.
Fucking bust.
Austin Matthews, number 3. Erik Karlsson, number 4. Drew Doughty, number 5. John Tavares, number 6. Mitch Marner, number 7. Carey Price is still stealing money from the Canadians at number 8. Patrick Kane at number 9. Jonathan Toews at number 10. Now, guys, a lot of these are like glory contracts, right? Toews and Kane are at the end of their contracts. Same with Carey Price. Drew Doughty, same thing. I mean, Doughty, obviously, I think still has some years left on that contract because it was like a 112-year contract.
Yeah.
But so I got to ask you guys, how do you fix this? Because you can't be able to not pay superstars and then have an unbalanced roster. Like, I know salary cap issues exist in every sport except baseball, but the NHL salary cap, with the exception of utilizing the LTIR, it seems like the NHL gets hamstrung the moment they pay the player.
Well, Tyler, before we dive into this, I think you forgot a very important person on the top 10 list. Isn't Rasmus Ristolainen getting paid $1 billion?
It feels like that because he sucks. It feels like he sucks so bad.
That was the list of players who, actually made the playoffs, and then Patrick Kane and Carey Price.
He sucks so much. He sucks at sucking.
Just because his $5.5 million feels like $5.5 billion doesn't mean he actually cracks the list. No, Tyler, you're exactly right, Tyler. Like, the solution is raise the fucking salary cap. Like, for the love of God, it's disgusting how low it is. The fact that Connor McDavid is the highest paid player in the sport and he's making $12.5 million when he's worth minimum double that. But I think because that's not going to happen because the NHL it's in the best sport in hockey, and it is the absolute worst league. And that's like comparing it to the NFL, who no one is happy with half the time. Like, no one's happy with the MLB half the time. The NHL far and away the worst league. So the way to fix it is it's these teams like the Lightning that home grow their players, that get a lot of these players right before they peak for like $4 to $5 million a year, like an Anthony Cirelli, Mikhail Sergachev, Alex Kaloran. They were all making like $4 to $6 million, not $10 million when they went on their deep cup runs. That's one piece of it. It's finding a fourth line comprised of players that maybe make league minimum. That's really, really good. And then the third piece of it is, quite honestly, it's just being a little bit lucky. I think that's the biggest thing in hockey. Like, all these teams that have these high-powered offenses, like, most of these series are coin flips. They could go either way. So, like, it's coincidental, I think, that all these high-price players are out of the league, because if you look at some of those series, yeah, they probably could have gone either way. And I think the other piece is, like, look at Boston and in the Western Conference, I guess, look at Colorado. Like, they've cultivated a culture there where guys are taking less money to keep winning teams together. Like, Patrice Bergeron should be making way more than he has. Brad Marchand should be making way more than he makes. But they take less money because they want to win. Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin did it for the Penguins. Like, that's kind of the only compromise. These players who should be being paid way more have to compromise.
So let me give you some numbers real quick, and then we'll continue on.
No, I want to hear Mark's take, though.
I already said my NHL takes are perfect.
I want to go to Vegas to gamble next.
Boom.
All right, Ty.
Let me give you guys some numbers real quick. In 2018, and I understand that the COVID season kind of crashed the numbers a little bit, but 2018, 2019, the league cap was $75.5 million. The following year, it went up $2 million to $81.5 million. The next 2 seasons, it didn't move a cent. This season, it went up $1 million. And next year, I believe it is set to go up. Jack, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's set to go up about another $2 million next season.
It's going to be maybe even a little bit less than that.
It's not enough. I know that.
No. No, it's. I mean, the NHL is just a poorly run league, for a multitude of reasons. But yeah, there is no answer until you just raise the salary cap, plain and simple.
You brought up something, Jack, that just makes me so jealous. Can you imagine if Philadelphia knew how to grow homegrown talent and even one? I mean, I guess the Eagles are starting to do it, but like even one team, like Tampa, living in Tampa the past 2 years, I've seen the Lightning, the Rays, the Buccaneers all grow, and every single pick that they make in a draft, any signing that they make turns to gold. And it is ridiculous because I had to go, and we just talked about it 2 nights ago, and watch the Sixers go 1 for 6 with major draft capital, another couple 0 for billion with the other teams if you include them. And here we are with Randy Rosarena and Yandy Diaz and Wander Franco and Devin White, Tristan Wirfs.
Rasmussen.
I mean,
Jeffrey
we could go on for
Springs,
days. We already covered the Lightning, but
McClanahan,
they
Shane
have the most of
McClanahan.
the three.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. And we can't get one guy. We have Joel Embiid. He won an MVP. That's great. Who else you got? Thank God for the Jalen Hurts pick. No one liked it at the time, but I mean, that's pretty much all you get. And then for the Rangers, they sign all their guys. Like the big market teams just don't put enough resources into figuring out how to build a complete roster. They're like, well, we'll throw money at the problem. And I think that has become a major issue. And with the NHL having that such a low cap type of league, it's even bigger of an issue because now you have teams that aren't even able to throw money at the issue. When they do, they screw it up so bad. Like both of our teams, I mean, way less so the Rangers because at least they were able to get close enough. But now you have teams like the Golden Knights and the Kraken that can just take a bunch of ancillary products and put them together and somehow get to a cup or close to it. That's my rant. If anyone wants to put chop suey underneath that, it's fine. Wake up! Oh, we just got banned.
I think you could play at least 5 seconds of the song.
I think the headphones
all the way to like 10 seconds. Possibly.
I did edit in the oh no, the Pablo Sanchez music when Mark made that initial first round pick last week.
Such a good song.
Dun, 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 dun,
Maybe the
dun,
best
dun,
theme
dun,
song
dun.
I was too dumb in high school, but like in retrospect, I absolutely should have made that my walk up music for senior year.
You guys had walk up music?
Hell yeah! My junior and senior year, we fought tooth and nail to get it. But when
our field barely functioned.
I'm going to cut and post to Twitter that clip of you saying I was too dumb in high school, and that's all it's going to be.
Fair enough.
Bro, you should go to one of these fields, these tournaments now. They all have walk-up music. Like every fucking parent brings a Bluetooth speaker, and sometimes it's like a battle. It's like
all right, Mark,
play better music. And honestly, I'll pick a winner of a team just if they have like better music.
What are you going with? What's your walk-up song if you had the chance to choose today?
Today, we've been talking about it a lot because me and my other coach, we talk about it like going to every game. Like, oh, this would be a good like walk-up song right here. I would pick "Whip It" by Big X the Plug. You don't know it, but look it up. Trust me.
Don't know it.
All right.
It slaps.
We may have to throw that link in the bio because we certainly can't get copywritten.
Then we're asking you, what's the answer?
Oh, for me? Well, I was always a leadoff hitter, so I was always wanted to do "Let's Get It Started" by the Black Eyed Peas because Jimmy Rollins did it once. I thought it was awesome.
Did you want to do the OG version instead?
Oh, dear God. I'd get canceled real quick. But anyway, I don't know. That would probably be like the pick like long term that I would go with, but things change, man. I could absolutely go with some epic sax, man. I think that would be pretty elite as well.
I mean, I kind of already gave my answer in Pablo Sanchez walk-up theme song. I think that would be just awesome to walk up to that.
Jack already took that. Pick another one.
All right, fine. I'll do a Philippians 4:13, and I'll just have like a spoken word Bible verse come out. It's I can do all things through him who strengthens me.
Did you have to look that up and like read it?
Do you think?
Let me ask you.
I just know how to quote Bible verses.
Bro, we all had that like written on our hats in high school. Come on.
I want it to be like what the priests in like a very traditionally traditional church would do, like, through him all things are good.
I want the
Praise
part where
be
he says
to our
peace.
leadoff hitter.
I want the part where the priest says peace like 9 times.
Yeah, they changed
Yeah.
that.
Peace be with you
all
with the
different.
peace
It's all
and the
different
peace.
now.
When's the
I
last
wanna-
time you
yeah.
went to church?
Yeah,
You thinking of-
I'll
actually
be honest with you, maybe like 2nd grade.
Mark, you thinking about through him, with him, in him?
We were forced to go like in high school and stuff, but I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the same.
no, Mike, I like your idea, and then at the end
You
it
just
says
pissed off all the Catholics watching.
Yeah,
No,
and then
my
like,
mom's gonna love this because she's gonna think it's legit.
Mike, do what yours.
Shout
I
out,
want mine
Mom.
to
I
be-
love you.
Not, but she's still alive. I
didn't
know you
point
pointed
up,
out.
I just
She's just north of where Mike is right
She's
now.
very much alive.
Fair enough.
Talk to her today.
Yeah, she lives north of Tampa, Florida. She's no. I want you to play like that song, and then at the end it says "Peace be with you," and then all the fans have to say "and also with you" before I step into the batter's box.
Yeah,
But I want there to be a
don't
producer
say that
tag.
anymore.
I'm imagining
No, they do.
Jack,
No,
like,
they
standing
don't.
outside of the
Oh,
box.
they
and
say it with
nobody's
your
saying
spirit,
that.
right?
And with your
Well,
spirit,
look,
yeah.
I like the old days better, so I'm going to force my fans to say "and also with you."
So
Jack
archaic.
standing outside of the box, just waiting and waiting, and nobody says it. He's like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me, what?"
And then I'm going to take a thing of
Thank
dirt
you.
and like do that like Simba on my head.
And you're just gonna hear jungle beats, holla at me.
Muzzle it on that beat.
Anyway, Tyler, take it away. Take it away from us.
All right.
That was a great segue into baseball.
Speaking of baseball, we are about 45-ish games into the Major League Baseball season. Some of us are happy with our team that we are fans of. Nobody on this podcast right now currently is happy with their teams.
Well,
Wait a second.
I
All
would
right,
be if
listen,
I'm-
Mister.
I mean-
I hate Aaron Boone and everything he does. Back it up.
That doesn't mean I'm not happy with my team. In spite of Aaron Boone, I am happy with the Yankees.
The Yankees have like 1.5 starting pitchers right now.
It's amazing that they have a winning record. So that's why I'm happy with them.
They
Also,
have,
Aaron
they have
Judge is-
Garrett Cole and then Domingo Herman, who's rubbing cheating stuff on his pants.
The cheat.
fair.
if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Get with the
Yeah, right.
times.
Substances need to be legalized in the game.
Listen,
Better.
this is a hot take, and I'm glad you said that, Mark. I think more cheating should be allowed in baseball.
Boom.
Agreed.
More cheating,
Bring
like I
steroids
want
back.
more Mark on this podcast. Mark, just talk for like 10 minutes.
Mark, what
wanna hear
what
you.
cheating proposals would you bring back?
Oh, it's obvious. You go foreign substances is the first one, right? 'Cause,
100%.
like,
Easily.
let the people get what they want. We want high spin rates. We want fast fastballs, but also safety, right? Obviously, we could sell it that way.
We sell it that way. sure.
Honestly, if baseball was less safe, I'd watch more.
Yeah.
I want
No helmets at the
steroids,
plate.
All right, bring steroids
Yes.
back. Let's be honest.
Cleat
They
high
all do them
spiking
anyway.
only.
They just do them in a real smart way. We're corking the bats again. Fuck it. I don't even care. I'm going to see
Hell
them run all the time. If it goes 520 feet, better. Even better.
Yep.
I want
Hit
I
it
want
somewhere
pitchers
where
to be
Zach
able to
Hampel
leave the
can't
game
catch
and
it.
then also come back in that same game.
Love that. I
That'd be hilarious.
love that idea.
Why not?
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause-
Every other substitute except for soccer can do that.
yeah,
How about bats with chains on them? But you get to carry them on the base paths.
Ooh. No, I think we're
Like
just
a flail?
things that aren't real. I don't know
Yeah.
anymore.
I think peg should be legal. If you peg the runner going from first to second,
That's a
they're
good
out.
one.
Are we playing Slugfest? What is this now? I'm confused.
Might as well be at this.
Oh, you meant that kind of peg. Okay.
I think the fielder should be able to take the bases anywhere they want. Like if a guy tries to steal second, the shortstop can just pick up the base out of the ground and take it away from him.
I think we've gotten dangerously close to like illegal banana ball. Like if you can combine all the cheating in baseball with banana ball, we got something here.
Savannah
XFL
Bananas
XFL
taken over
for
by
baseball.
Dana White.
ECW baseball. Let's call up the WWE, see if they're interested. We got something for you.
Could you
We've been
imagine?
talking a lot of these tournaments we've been at because we've been at these fields with these big ass nets, but they're like kind of tight, so to like bounce back into the field. Hear me
That's-
out. I think if it hits something on the side, hits a fence, anything, stays in play, you catch it, that's an out.
Great.
Enter it into the rules, why not?
It's like MLB Street.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Stay
Listen,
off the ground, right?
You can have somebody in the outfield playing offense and trying to tackle the guy trying to make the catch.
yo, a roaming offensive player would be awesome.
That would be insane.
They just their only position is to just interfere with fielders.
There's a moon fly ball. You're just like, oh man, it's up there for a while. He just spears the kid getting ready to catch it.
Fair catch.
Fair catch.
Bobby Boucher.
Oh, in the same vein, I think the bullpen should have one pitching machine, and they can just start launching balls at anyone on the opposing team when they're in the field from the pitching machine.
That's like the what's that? It was like Coliseum or something like that, like where there were gladiators, American Gladiators. But they used to have the tennis.
Yes, they had the cannons.
Yes.
You know what's crazy? And this
Great
might be
show.
a hot take here. This might be a sport that we're turning into something that Angel Hernandez could actually be a good umpire
Oh,
for.
and that's the thing. I want the worst umpiring possible.
Yeah.
Did you see
I want
Angel
there to be
Hernandez
no
has only
semblance
umped
of a
one
strike
game
zone.
this season?
I
Angel
saw.
Hernandez has only
That's
umped
beautiful.
one game this season.
Let's keep it that way.
It
Yeah.
seems
Well,
like one too many.
He needs to stay fresh for the important games.
The
They're
Phillies
giving
game.
them all 7 behind the plate
Yeah,
for the World
murder,
Series.
murder ball that we're about to create.
TM.
Death by baseball.
All
right, so
we'll all wear helmets all the time. I don't know.
Nah, no helmets. No helmets allowed. Helmets are banned. We want
Fielders, well-
CTE is not going to be a thing anymore in the NFL in 10 years. We're going to need something to cause head injuries.
That's true.
We're gonna
Fielders
just
wear
play
helmets,
football.
but batters don't.
But we're going to
If
sell it
you-
like we're all about player safety.
I believe
Correct.
you should also be able to steal first base, but it's not stealing first base. You have to fight the pitcher.
I like it.
I think I'd
Taiwan
go
Walker
for
would be
Nick,
way better
obviously.
than he is currently if he was able to fight his batters.
Yeah, he's strong.
Yeah.
Jack is thinking of something so diabolical, and I think he's trying to decide if
He's
he wants
trying
to say it
to
or not.
he's trying to make it so we don't have to edit it out.
I'm good.
All right,
Okay.
so let's actually talk real baseball for a second, although I think that was far more entertaining. We are about 45 games into the regular season, and some surprises, some disappointments. Genuinely, guys, how are you feeling about your baseball team at the quarter of the way mark or so?
I'll go first because you will all have 3 answers about the same team. So I'll get out of the way here. I feel great about the Yankees considering they, like you said, Tyler, they have like 2 pitchers that were supposed to be in their starting rotation that are actually in their starting rotation right now. Garrett Cole is having the Cy Young season that I expected him to have coming into this year. I feel like he was getting close. He's really good this year. Nestor Cortez has been up and down, but he hasn't been a liability. But like, yeah, who knows when Carlos Rondon is going to come back into the lineup, if ever. Luis Severino's starting on Sunday, so that hopefully is a big boost for like the 2 games that he starts when he inevitably gets injured again. But those guys being injured, Stanton being out for a while, Judge doing a 10-day stint on the IL, Bader being out for a long time. I mean, the list goes on and on. Like, they haven't really had a healthy lineup, and they're playing in by far the best division in baseball, and they're still 5 games over 500 with, again, their full crop of players having never seen the field. So it can't be much worse for how it's been health-wise for the Yankees. 5 games over 500, playing what was statistically the hardest schedule up to this point in the MLB. Like, they're going to eventually catch some softer teams, and I think they're going to take off a little bit. So I'm feeling fine, all things considered.
Before we start talking about how just absolutely terrible the Phillies are, can we just talk about how the AL East is ridiculous right now?
It's so dumb.
It's almost like sad that they can't just all go to the playoffs because there's going to be somebody left out. There's going to have to be. And it's going to be – I'm sorry.
Not true. We can take – yeah, there is going to – no. They should just –
the Orioles, don't worry. They'll fall to the median.
No, the Red Sox stink. I don't care how – they're playing average ball. The Red Sox are not a good baseball team.
That's fair. That whole division right now.
Although, you know who I do like on that team a lot is Yoshida. He's come over and been a really, really good, productive player for that team. Struggled a little bit early, but I like him a lot. I think he can play.
He's good.
I actually think I might just be an Orioles fan now. Here for the young talent.
I respect it. Did you see their record since not Gunnar Henderson, since Adley Rutschman has come up?
No.
In their first 162 games with Adley Rutschman in the big leagues, they are 93-69.
Nice.
Best catcher in baseball.
Soon to be, if not already.
I mean, JT
Maybe best
Realmuto's
young catcher in
terrible
baseball.
right now, so.
JT's hit the ball well over the last couple of weeks, but it's certainly a slow start. I mean, the elevated fastball. Can I go on a rant for a second about elevated fastballs?
Surely.
Sure.
Mark, and then you can pull me back because you know more baseball than all of us.
Gotcha.
I'm going to preface this by saying I understand it's an enticing, right, eye-opening pitch, elevated fastballs up here. No one can hit elevated fastballs. You can't. Nobody. I don't care if you tomahawk at it. I don't care if you have Ken Griffey Jr. bat speed. You cannot hit elevated fastballs. I'm talking to you, talking to you, talking to you, and I'm talking to everybody who listens to the show, including Major League Baseball players who I assume listen to the show. And send this to your players as well, Mark. You can't hit elevated fastballs because you can't get your hands around that quick. You can't get up on it. You're not going to do anything with it. Why are we chasing high fastballs at the major league level as much as they are?
Because you have to be ready for a ghost fork ball. I would
rather strike out and look like a fool swinging at something like that. The splitters, the fork balls, the slutters, the sweepers, the slurves, the blurves, the whatever pitch you want to make up. I'd rather look like an idiot striking out on that than chasing something up in my eyes. Because you're not going to hit it.
To be fair, they're all hunting fastballs. They're not looking to hit anything but a fastball because once it's going. True. How many guys did you face over 95?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Never. I've never faced anybody that throws it hard.
You ever faced anybody over like 90?
Probably low 90s. Yeah.
You know, split second there.
Oh, I get it. I understand.
It's literally like, so you see it, it's gone. You see it, it's gone. You have to make a decision.
Yeah, sure. It's reactionary.
I think honestly, they're just going off of what they've watched in the game tape at this point.
2 words, guessing.
And it looks good. I mean, it looks because you can actually see that ball coming the whole way.
Yeah, they're seeing it. They're seeing what kind of release it is, and they're guessing on where it's going to be.
Did you just say 2 words, guessing?
Correct. That was the joke.
Is ing the second word?
No, it was a joke.
Hyphenated, yeah.
Proceed. Okay.
So, listen, you're 100% right, Mark. Like, if you are up there hunting fastball, because if we're being honest, like, fastball is the easiest pitch in baseball to hit, right? Like, theoretically, it should be.
Damn near the only pitch to hit, except for, like, hung. Anything.
Right, because if you get anything that's breaking down and away, you get anything that's breaking, and quite frankly, the easiest pitch to hit in baseball, I should even bring that, like, even categorize it even further down, is a 4-seam fastball. Anything with movement is hard to hit. I'm not going to sit here and I don't want to sit here and tell you like, oh, I'm going to go up in the box and hit 90. I'm not. I'm going to strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. See you later. Probably get hurt swinging. But I watch these guys go after elevated fastball after elevated fastball, and I understand that you are looking more pitch than you are location. But at that point, your eyes should not light up like Christmas trees to see that pitch that's up here. You can't hit it.
I try to defend them, but then I remember sometimes they're making millions and millions of dollars to do this, and like they should just be better, honestly. And I'm going to say that to the end.
Never get out. I mean, you should also hit.
Yeah, why not, right? Well, no, because then the pitchers really suck, and they don't.
No, they also have 0 ERAs.
So in that vein, does Trey Turner stink at baseball? No, I'm just kidding.
He's just going through. He's going through what Nick Castellanos. He's going to have an MVP season next year.
He didn't buy Ben Simmons' house. He doesn't have any reason.
I don't watch much Phillies baseball, but what I've watched, Castellanos is like a different player than he was last year. He looks so comfortable at the plate.
He's casty.
He's back to what he was in Detroit, plugging gaps with doubles all season long. But yeah, the rest of the team's not that good.
I mean, Jack, last year he had legitimately the statistically highest swing percentage of every eligible player in baseball. His swing percentage was upwards of almost 60%. And for those of you that, I'm not trying to get too nerdy, but for those of you that are saying, is it swing percentage of pitches like in the zone? No, he was swinging last year at 60% of the pitches that he was seeing. Do you know how hard that is to do at any level?
That's
To
not
go
that hard.
after
You just
60%?
swing it. You swing it 3 of every 5 pitches. That's really easy.
All right, let me rephrase that. Do you know how hard that is to do and think you're going to be competent at the MLB level? This year, that number's way down. His walk numbers are up. And because of the fact that pitchers know that they're not just going to get him to dive out and over the plate with breaking stuff down and away, especially righties, he has the ability to sit in and, as Mark was talking about, get on those fastballs. And that's why he's driving gap.
So my question for the Phillies, again, I don't watch many, but like, is every bullpen pitcher that once used to be good, like the second they get to the Phillies, they just become not good out of the bullpen?
I think that the Phillies bullpen has an aura around it that basically says you're allowed to suck. Don't worry. Give up 9 runs every time you come out. It'll be fine because we have the best offense, right? No. Has the bullpen ever been good? I can't even think back.
The bullpen was tremendous last year.
Yeah, it was good.
I know.
Year.
I'm just so
really,
angry
really
right now
good.
about it, and that's not the point, Tyler. Let me be angry for once.
Sorry, you're right. My bad.
Have we ever been good? No, it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch and also be in Atlanta and have to deal with that.
Yeah, well, I think the pitching's been the biggest issue, and a lot of it has to do with injury. I mean, they've been plugging in Jake Cave and Cody Clemens and, you know, God knows who to try to figure out, like Josh Harrison. None of those guys have. Cody Clemens has been okay for a couple games. Outside of that, they really haven't gotten any production from any of those guys who you plug in. When you're losing Bryce Harper for a decent stretch, you don't have Rhys Hoskins. You don't have a couple of your pitchers to start the year, Andrew Painter, and obviously Ranger Suarez, who's finally back. But like, these are key pieces to your team that, again, all things considered, I was frustrated, but not like end of the world when it's, you know, you're 520-20. Then they go and they do what they did against, you know, the San Francisco Giants on the road this weekend, and that was just hard to watch. So there really is a lot of just growing pains as a team with trying to figure out who you can plug in, and that is a major problem of a team that has a big payroll where they have spent a lot of money to fix some issues and they don't have any depth to support it.
Based on what you said, the Phillies should be 25-20 right now.
They're 20-23.
I know, but I'm just saying he basically described the Yankees situation there too again.
Sure. And quite frankly, if the margins are slim, like if you're 25-20, you're probably still sitting here saying that they're underperforming based on what a lot of people expected. But the reality of the situation is the Phillies are probably an 88-91 win team, which is good enough to get you into the playoffs with the wild card, right? They are more, as you saw last year, and I believe it's the same this year, they're more dangerous in a 7-game series than they are over the course of 162 games.
Correct. And the other thing,
they know how to get hot. That's
right. The only other thing that
I think the Yankees are the same way.
Yeah, they are. And for both teams' sake, I think it's a little bit tougher almost for the Yankees because they're 25-20 and I think they're also 7 games back, aren't they? So, I mean, both the Yankees and the Phillies are sitting 7 games back in 4th place in their division. And that is the one thing that the Phillies do have to their advantage, that the National League has been very, very even. Outside of the Braves, outside of the Dodgers, and I'll give the Brewers a pass into that category as well. Every other team that's supposed to be something has underperformed. The Mets have stunk. The Padres have stunk.
Cardinals have been abysmal.
Cardinals are terrible. So, I mean, it really could be a lot worse. However, they do need to kick it up into a higher gear because now that they have Ranger Suarez back, with the ability to finally have their lineup intact with Harper back, there's no excuses anymore. And to be able to get Trey Turner going, to be able to get Kyle Schwarber going, those are the 2 biggest keys. But again, it really does come down to pitching. Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola need to figure it out, and the bullpen needs to figure it out. When they get Alvarado back, that's a huge piece that they lost to injury. And it's just another thing that they have to deal with. It sucks.
I'm hugely optimistic, though, that like at least Bryce hit the ground running.
Yeah,
like he looked like damn near mid-season or mid-playoffs Bryce, which was crazy.
He's incredible. I was thinking about this the other day because I'm watching hockey. Saw Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid two best players in the league in the last 25 years. But I was thinking about like other sports. Harper is probably one of the few athletes in the last 25, 30 years that has actually exceeded arguably the highest expectations that could have been put on an athlete. Like it's Harper in baseball, it's LeBron in basketball, it's McDavid and Crosby in the NHL. NFL, I'm blanking because like it maybe could have been Andrew Luck if he played long enough, but
Do you think Joe Burrow falls under that category?
not yet. I don't think he's played. He could.
Okay. So you're talking about sustained success. Because Trevor Lawrence had that coming in.
Yeah, but like I guess I'm saying like Harper's won, multiple MVPs. Harper is better than he was 5 years ago as he continues to grow. Like that's the same thing to be said with Crosby's towards the end of his career. McDavid just gets better every year. But like, LeBron, we all hate him, but the sustainability of what he's done, like you can't look past just how much he's improved every single year. So like Burrow in 5 years, it'd be like, okay, he came out with those high expectations. And I don't even know if Burrow's in that same category because Burrow wasn't a stud prospect from like the age of 16. That's what I'm talking about. Is like this kid was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was 16 years old.
So you're talking about like the next one is Victor Wembanyama.
Correct. That's a good example. Like guys that have been the guy 5 years before they could have been drafted. That's what Harper was. Yeah. And he's been better than I think he's exceeded his expectations somehow. It's unbelievable.
Man, it warms my heart to hear you talk nicely about a player who deserves those flowers. And the same player who ESPN ranked 58th overall going into the season after he took his team to the World Series and had the biggest hit of the year. Okay.
To be fair, he was getting surgery on his UCL. So, I mean, maybe
does that factor into what level number
don't let
of baseball
facts get in the way of a good story.
Come on.
Fair. That's fair. He was supposed to miss half the season.
But I agree.
Also, like, is he superhuman? I don't understand.
Yes.
UCL.
Yeah. Well, the other thing with Mike's point is, like, if the rankings were best players for this season, or if it was just, like, purely the best talent, then, yeah, that's disgusting that there's a 5 before his number, unless his number was just 5 with no numbers after it.
All right, guys. It is time. Mark.
It's special segment time.
All right, guys. Ooh. So last week we had fun.
Wait, hold the fucking phone. Aaron Hicks just doubled.
Is he allowed
Pop
to do that?
The champagne.
Is he allowed to do that?
No.
He remembered how to hit.
All right, guys. Last week we had fun with a backyard baseball draft, so I figured we'd have some fun again this week. I'm going to take you back to a simpler time. The time was fill in the year because we all span different years. It's Friday night. You just got done school for the week, and you are chilling. You got no issues whatsoever, no homework, no worries in the world. You're popping on the PS2 or the original Xbox. And gentlemen, we are going to have a draft today, and everybody is going to pick 4 games. The elite games, sports games only of your childhood. Now, there is one exception to this list, and you guys are not going to like me for this, but there is one exception. Because of the significance of this game, MVP Baseball 2005 is off the board. You cannot pick that game. With that being said,
can I make a confession?
You can.
So, I played a lot of sports games on PS2 through 5, sure. Xbox 0 through 360, all 360 versions of it. I never owned a PlayStation or an Xbox console. I only played those games at my friends' houses, and I only owned a GameCube and a Wii.
Okay.
So I thought we were going all games.
Well, we are.
Does a racing game count as a sport? Is racing a sport?
Yes. Anything that you compete is considered a sport. Now, here is the thing. In term, like so that we're not splitting hairs. If you select per se a franchise, like let's say Madden, you get Madden, right? You don't have to pick Madden 07.
Okay.
Okay. So fair enough. So those are the only two stipulations. MVP Baseball 2005 is off the board. And if you get a franchise, you get the franchise. Now, in terms of fairness, Mike, you had the last pick in our backyard baseball draft. So therefore, you have the number
last
one
fucking pick.
overall pick in this snake draft. You have you have less than 30 seconds to make your decision and to
Go for it.
explain it. This
I'm gonna
is rapid fire.
I'm going to take my King's riches and go with Madden.
Easy selection. Figured that might be number one on the board.
Not a bad one.
So I believe I was third in our backyard baseball draft. So I am going to go with an individual game. And I think that this game probably might fall because you guys are a little bit younger, but I'm scooping it up before Mark has a chance to double up. I am taking an individual football game. Give me the great football game of all time, ESPN 2K5 as my number one pick.
It's a good one.
That was going to be my pick.
And I knew if anybody was going to take it, you might double up on it. I'm taking ESPN 2K5.
I love that.
All right. So this is kind of how, like, when you play fantasy football and the run on quarterbacks start, it looks like it's going to be a run on NFL games. I'm going to go with NFL Street.
Good selection.
Good one.
Makes sense. Good selection.
I got a double up here. So I got NBA Street Volume 2. I guess I just get all.
You just get all NBA Streets.
And then, you know what? Give me Tiger Woods PGA.
Oh, a little
baby.
PGA.
Nice.
Wow, I thought that might hang a little bit later. So after the first round, we are back on this into the second round. Jack, you're back up.
I'm up. I'm hoping my last two are so out of left field that they just come to me. So I'm going to go with the big franchise here. I'll take the NHL franchise. Big Chell guy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Listen,
on brand.
I think that this show is not going to respect this series enough, but this is the universal game. And because of that, I'm going to take it before it's gone. Give me FIFA.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy with that because it is a good pick for you, but I also was not a big FIFA guy, so I wasn't like hell bent on doing that. And now I get back-to-back picks. So I need to be creative with this because I don't really know where you guys are going to go.
Oh, I know where I'm going with my next pick.
I feel like if I need to continue to go along with the conglomerate, I'm going to go with MLB The Show to keep that like big name. But now I have two and this one, I don't know. I need you to clarify for me, Zuli, but this is one that I wanted to pick first, but I knew that would be stupid because I needed to go with Madden. Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Damn it!
Oh, you fuck! That was mine too. Good one,
Hey,
Mike.
does that count?
Good one,
Never
Mike.
mind.
You get the whole series.
One.
Yeah,
that's a great selection. That was going to be mine next.
Same.
Oh, that is a tremendous selection.
Good one.
That is an absolute steal. All right. So since that's a really, really, really good pick, and now I'm not going to lie to you, I'm scrambling a little bit because that was going to be mine, and I thought I'd have some time. I think that I don't want to do this because I already have a big franchise, but I think I got to take the last of the remaining franchises before it's off the board. As much as I wanted Tony Hawk, give me 2K.
Fair enough. We've got two more. I know for a fact. Well, I don't know for a fact, but I know for a fact my last one's still going to be there. I guess in light of recent news, this might jump higher on my list just because now I'm thinking about it more, but I'll take NCAA football 14 specifically.
Great pick. Why did we let that sit?
That was going to be.
I forgot about it. I really did.
I was sitting here like, I can't believe we haven't said that one yet. This is crazy to me. Okay. So, wow, that's a lot of the best ones.
Number 14 leading Penn State to a national championship. No one knows his fucking name.
Yeah.
Sean Clifford, because he's the greatest Penn State quarterback of all time.
Shut up.
Drew Aller, baby.
There was one of these games I really enjoyed, and I would say I don't even want the series. I just want this one. NBA Live 05.
NBA Live was great.
It wasn't
especially
the 05 one. Mint. It was perfect. Man, it's tough because all the good ones are gone. I really wanted Tony Hawk. I thought that was gonna be a sleeper pick.
That's a great one.
I'm so mad that that's off. That was I had a whole story teed up about how it impacted my musical
same
choices.
Here. I sent you guys a video. If anyone can find it on social media,
unbelievable.
Of some truck that was like off the rail, and it was kind of like grinding on the rail of the highway. and they had Superman by Goldfinger playing in the background, and it just brought me back to a better time.
Oh, I got one.
I got one too.
WWE. I think it was with SmackDown versus Raw. Was like
2008, baby.
Yeah.
All right, so you got the WWE franchise. The only issue, Mark, there is you had a lot of really good years. Your last couple of years have been piss poor.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't gotten a WWE game in some time, honestly. Like,
all right, Mark, you are officially done. You've got your 4 games, Jack.
I feel good. So you're running out of good ones.
So
I know where Jack's going.
Do you think I'm going to say Mario Kart?
I do think you're going to say Mario Kart.
So I was thinking of that one, and technically, based on your rules, that would be a sport. But I don't think of Mario Kart as a sports game, so I'm not going to go with that. But I did say I never owned a PlayStation and an Xbox, so I'm going away from those. I love to fuck around with some Wii Sports.
Damn it!
That was a great game.
That's a great pick.
That's what I thought I was going to have last. Good pick.
Oh, hell yeah. First of 2-leg goal scorer parlay just cashed here, so.
And you got Wii Sports.
Vegas. Got to hit that quota.
I have quite a few games that I could choose from here.
Vegas.
There's a game. I don't know if you guys even ever played. I'm not going to pick it, but it brings back memories and had a great soundtrack as well. Did you guys ever play the ATV Off-Road
Fury? Yes, that was going to be my pick.
That's all right. So I'm not taking it, but
no, it won't be now. That we've talked about it.
Great.
I need the reveal. But
great
ATV
soundtrack.
Off-Road Fury was excellent.
All right, but I'm going to go with a game now that the Wii games now that one of the Wii Sports came off the board. I'm going to go with a game that we had for Wii as well. But I know you could have it for any of the games because it was fun to play with the controller and play actual sports with it. Give me Mario Super Sluggers as my last pick.
Game.
And with that, I'm going to give you all of the Mario series, Mario Strikers.
So Strikers?
Yeah.
All right, give me all the Mario sports games.
That should be under the same umbrella.
All right, cool.
I agree.
And that's tough because those were some really good picks that I was thinking of with my final pick. Now I'm a little bit more, I need to go in a different direction just to keep it fun. But I do think, I was throwing around maybe like throwing it back, Temco Bowl or something like that, or Tecmo rather. But I think I'm going to stick with a similar vein to going the Tony Hawk route and hit up SSX Tricky.
Nice.
That shit was so fun.
You started saying that, I was like, he's gonna go with SSX.
Yeah. I could just spend all night doing random stuff on the slopes. It was great.
Did you guys play like the knockoff snowboarder game, the Cool Boarders?
No.
Cool Boarders was awful, right? It was like pixelated, like you would race and the town like wouldn't show up until like you would like be here and the town here wouldn't show up until like you started.
Oh, you know what? I do remember that.
It was a terrible game, but it was so much fun. Also,
I'm so glad that you remembered ATV Off-Road Fury and shouted it out.
ATV Off-Road Fury is one of my favorite games. And in
So
fact,
good.
it might be sitting over. I'm in my childhood basement, so it might be sitting. In fact, I'll be right back. I'm going to go find it.
I just remember there was one time I went over Zuli's apartment in college, and I'm walking. He's like, yeah, just come on in whenever you get here. I'm like, okay, fine. I walk in, nobody else is home. And you remember, it was like the one with like the balcony and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I walk up to his room. I get in there, and he is just going ham on NBA Street.
Top tier, baby.
ATV Off-Road Fury.
If anyone hasn't played that game before, you should go get it. Like, it's probably decently cheap for like a used game on eBay. Worth it.
And I'll sell you this copy for $4,000.
Yeah, I went mainstream with a couple picks just to appease the masses if this was a Twitter poll. But if we're actually talking about like what I played, I might replace one of my picks with my favorite racing game of all time, Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I loved running from the cops.
I'm trying to remember if we had that one or not.
I think
there's so many of them.
Josie Marin plays Mia in the
Sure.
I remember turning it on. Hi, I'm Josie Marin, and I play Mia in the Need for Speed series.
Dude, how
now you're engaged
hot,
to
right?
a Josie. Crazy how that works.
Incepted.
Subliminal messaging.
He did this on purpose.
ATV Off-Road Fury 2 is 99 cents on eBay.
All right. I think I might just buy it just to have it.
I know. Just riding
like,
on top of the train in ATV Off-Road Fury 2 is a very vivid memory of my childhood.
hey, I got a question.
Did you play? Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
No, you go, Tyler. Yours is probably more relevant.
The ATV. So I don't know if you guys ever. I know obviously Mike did. I don't know if you two did. In ATV, the map was like a finite space, right? And if you took off and just in any direction just started driving, eventually the map would launch you backwards. It was the greatest that you ran out of like pixelated room and it was just woof, and you were gone.
I used to free roam all the time just to do that. Just like
incredible.
I'd get off of school, I'd go straight into free roam and just mess that guy's little weird flailing body up. Hear me out on this one though. Can we?
Sure.
Would we say Grand Theft Auto was a sports game? Because I'm going on a lot of killing like things here, and there's a lot of running involved. I get shot a lot. That's a lot of athleticism.
You do ride bikes in one.
You ride bikes.
Yeah, but there's
some might say that that the three of those guys are peak athletes. They're basically like triathlons.
They almost never slow down. I'm just saying.
True. Got a lot of stamina. Also, the other one that I wanted to shout out, I didn't think that it was pertinent for this type of draft because I don't think it's one of those types of games, but Crash Bandicoot Warped, one of the greatest games
one
of
of
all
an
time.
elite game, but
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I was thinking I played this game like a month ago for the first time in probably 10 years, but I played Spyro for the first time in like 10 years. And that was like, I played that on the 64 when I was growing up.
Back in when I used to live here, my brother and I did a gaming channel, like a Let's Play channel. And I have like 15 episodes of playing the first Spyro game. And it's like, I went back and listened to it and I'm like, you sound like an asshole.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
I got to be honest with you guys. I don't think I am not used to be. I'm not now, but I turned into a terrible video game player. Whereas all of my friends growing up were like, could have gone and like, not necessarily done it professionally because there are a lot of people like that, but like got unbelievably good at video games and just used that as their way to stay in touch with one another.
Sure.
I was just like, dude, I'm the guy in Call of Duty who's shooting down the UADs where there's no chance that I'm doing anything productive for you.
I mean, I'm amazing at everything I do. So
pretty much wake up and piss excellence.
Yeah.
I suck at Call of Duty. It doesn't stop me from playing it, but I am so bad. The only video game I've truly become like I'm decent at some sports video games. I'm awful at most other video games like first person shooters. But the only video game I'm good at, I'm great at, and it's Mario Kart. Like I will hang my hat on being an unbelievable Mario Kart player, and I will take the loss in every other video game because I am not good at Madden. I'm decent at Chell. I suck at FIFA. Like I would lose every war if I was an actual soldier in Call of Duty. Every single war.
Our listeners already know
the Cold
that
War where there was not even a real fight. I would lose
Kart.
that war.
Also, let's be honest here. It's not even Mario Kart. It's Beer Kart that you're amazing.
Yeah.
Correct.
No, your underground ring that you run. Betting ring.
I mean, Beer Kart, yes, but Mario Kart too.
So I want to ask you guys, as we wrap this up, one more game that I thought about adding, but I'm not quite sure where it fits into the hierarchy. How about Hot Shots Golf? Any interest in Hot Shots Golf?
I'll be honest, I never played it.
Really? That was fun.
I played it, but I don't think I had it.
The greatest golf game wasn't even on a PlayStation or an Xbox. It's Golden Tee. That's the best golf game ever.
Oh, for sure.
Golden Tee is incredible. If there are two bars that I can choose to go to, and only one of them has Golden Tee, I'm going to that bar and I'm playing Golden Tee the whole time. I don't care about
burning the other place to the ground,
socializing with people. I just want to play Golden Tee the whole time. Also, I don't know
Local
if I missed the stipulation
because Bar did not have. He said, "quote They didn't have Golden Tee.
You don't
wasn't
have
a real threat.
tea?
Never specified it was an actual place.
There was a stipulation in that draft though that stated we aren't able to take backyard sports, right? Because we didn't
that was kind of implied because we did backyard sports.
Because that would have been number one overall.
So
yeah.
if we'll throw this up on Twitter, you can vote on our sports video game draft. Listen, we all know the GOAT sports video game of all time, and if you don't, you're wrong. And I'm sorry, there's no other option. Is MVP Baseball 2005
or backyard sports?
You can throw back,
forever.
So we'll throw this up on Twitter with this video. And we'll ask you once again. We'll do it blindly. Mike, don't give away your team this time, please.
My team stunk. All we did was hit bombs and get zeros on our report card.
We'll
Guys,
do
I
it
think
blindly.
we all
so.
just voted for ourselves one time, and then Jack got 2 votes. Honestly,
I don't know. I got a lot of responses on my tweet. So
well, people don't like me. All right, is that what you want to hear?
People
I'm gonna go
care
cry.
about Tyler.
Gary, can you come here and console me, please?
So we'll put this up on Twitter, and
Gary.
we'll get the responses from our friends on Twitter in the next couple of days. But anything, guys, I think it's just about time to wrap this thing up. This one's probably been the most ridiculous. Silly is probably a good word to use to describe this podcast. Anything you want to get in before we wrap this thing up?
Vegas.
There it is, and the overhits.
Let's go.
All right, so we will
I have
catch up.
money on it, I'll be
We'll
honest.
catch up with you guys next week. Short week, short turnaround at least, because we'll be back on a regular recording schedule beginning again next week. So for the gentlemen in these pre-made boxes, Mark Vignani, Jack Molesky, Mike Davella, I'm Tyler Zulli. We'll chat with you next week right here on Crossing the Line Podcast.